Oh gosh, it's
welcome, everybody. And if you just full disclosure, if you see me going like this, it's not because I want to show you my really attractive blanket. It's because my camera does fuzziness sometimes. So at least usually it's a shot of like the pajamas, but I actually have jeans on right now. So why I'm still in jeans, I have no idea. You guys, welcome to our first Dream Quest call. I am so over the moon excited. I feel like I need to say I'm Jillian Bolans, but you all know that. So I'm just so over the moon excited. I want to first, like as we start this, just honor every single one of you because you're on this call, first of all, because you're a VIP member of DreamQuest, which means during the whole launch process of DreamQuest, because I think all of you were in Thrive, right? I think you all were in Thrive. And then obviously Thrive in and of itself was incredible. I poured my heart into that, but it was amazing because I knew that Thrive was going to lead into DreamQuest. Like I had DreamQuest in my heart before I had Thrive. So I knew Thrive had to be flipping amazing to match the caliber of what we were going to experience in DreamQuest. And so with all that, you were actively learning already. You were giving yourselves the space and the grace to call out some limiting beliefs. Like it's actually not, it can be really uncomfortable, you guys, to like go into a free training where it's very much, I laid it out on the table. You are simply surviving. You are not thriving. If you want to learn how to thrive, come to this. So you had to get honest with yourself about where you felt you stood in that moment. And then you actively were working on all the things. And you knew you had a calling within you, deep within you, that you knew you weren't stopping there. You knew you needed the next step. You knew you needed the next kind of like cog in the process. And you knew that you were going to, if you were going to do this, you were going to go all the way. You were going to give yourself the highest level of value. And that included the VIP, that included the one-to-one call, that included the group calls. It's so powerful. And I'm just really proud of you. I listened to a podcast once and it was like, whatever it is, go VIP. Whatever, if you're going to go to something, if you're going to invest in something, go all the way because there's always like the most amount of value when you do that. So congratulations for already answering that calling within you, right? Like that's so powerful. I honor you. I'm so psyched to be here. And this call is yours, you guys. We have a beautiful hour together where we can have kind of an open conversation, but also I run other groups. Some of you are in other ones of those groups. And we kind of go around the circle and we say like, what are we grateful for? And where are you feeling stuck right now? I feel like that would be helpful because we've done a lot of modules and sometimes it's nice to get that in-person feedback. So why don't we start there? And if things open up, if you want more feedback, if we want more like kind of mastermind style discussion, we can do that too. How does that sound? Does that feel good for everybody? Awesome. Okay. Does someone want to go first? I will ask you what you're grateful for. And I will ask you what it is on your Dream Quest journey that you're feeling like, I'm caught here. I'm stuck right here. Like, how can we get through this? And I can give you some actual coaching feedback right here. And I will say this, if anybody has anything to add, because especially in a group where there's a lot of coaches, everyone wants to start like coaching each other. And that gets really hairy. That gets really like, oh my gosh, like which way do I turn? Which way do I look? So just add comments in the comment section. For those of you that are new to Zoom, there's a chat section. So you can just type something in there. But I'll lead the way with doing the actual coaching and we get to be here to support each other. Sound good? I like this for now. And I usually like to start off my calls with like a little ditty. So for tonight it was, I honor you. Where you are on your Dream Quest right now is exactly where you're meant to be. And I know you may hear that all the time, or maybe you've never heard that before, but it's so true. We try to rush through the process of getting to where we think we're meant to be, or we feel like we're lagging behind. We're missing out on stuff. Like we're never we're hardly ever giving ourselves that moment to be where we are. And where we are now is literally building the way to the future. And it gives us the opportunity to look back and be really grateful for all that we've done to get ourselves to here. So powerful. And you guys are all freaking powerful women who are doing this. Like, you are literally uncovering your dreams. You're starting to build the life of your dreams. And this is only the beginning. Like, isn't that the best feeling ever? It's like, oh my gosh, like, look how much. I know many of you have had massive breakthroughs in here already, and this is just the beginning, right? And you get to continue. It's the compound effect. You get to continue to build upon it. So that being said, I have to, final note, I freaking love this group. I freaking love this group. This was born out of like true passion for me. I love the conversations that are in the group. I love the vulnerability. I love that we are truly cheering each other on. Like, I'm not messing around when I say that sisterhood is the most important, crucial piece to my coaching, because we all crave that. And I was thinking about it today. We don't all just crave sisterhood. We crave sisterhood with the sisters that also crave sisterhood. Because there are many sisters out there that still feel like they have to do it by themselves. They're not in this group. We are all surrounded by people that are literally doing it with us. So, thank you for my little ditty moment, my little coach 'em up moment. Who would like to go first? Kim Johnson, will you break the ice for us tonight?
You know me well.
I know.
Okay, grateful. I'm grateful to be back in New Hampshire. Just
Yes.
spent a week with my daughter in Texas, which was fabulous.
Awesome.
Not liking the cold though. Ready
Freaking
for
cold
spring.
here.
Yeah. And Jillian, what you just said, your little ditty coachable moment in the beginning that we just had, I've been doing a lot of thinking. Okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to, what are my dreams? And you and I have had this conversation last week,
Yeah.
and it just like thunk on my head that I have to go through this struggle.
Yeah.
I have to, figure out what it is that I want. It's not just going to magically appear as much as I want it to.
Well, let me help you just frame that differently. Let's just use different terminology to that, because it actually will appear. It actually is within you. You don't have to be grinding to figure it out anymore. You don't have to be like manipulating the system to figure it out. Your work with this is getting still with it and allowing. So no, it may not be like the magic lightning bolt that's coming, but like just the allowance of it to rise, really. Like, that's what yes, we have to go through this part, you guys. Yeah.
And I, as much as I realize that, now I don't, I want the easy path, I guess. Yeah. I don't want, nobody wants to have to struggle. And, I know that I'm going to have to, so I'm just and not struggle so much, but work at it, to get my own internal blocks out of the way.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's kind of where I am. And it just was kind of like, as you were talking, I'm like, oh my God.
I saw you have an aha moment. Like, I saw it happening on my screen. You guys
I'm like,
for me, so I can see you all. Do you guys have that all set up? Do you know that you can do that? You can put it on a view that you can see everybody, not just my face? Okay, just making sure. I've been on some calls. They're like, I didn't even realize other people were on the call. But they just had it on me the whole time. I'm like, oh, honey, I'm so sorry. There were several other people on the call. Kim, I think it's beautiful that that's an allowance, right? Like, you allowed for that to come to you. You allowed for that message to be embodied within you. And here's the truth. It doesn't have to be a struggle, like you said, because you were like, struggle is not the right word. But what it is looking at stuff that we've worked really hard not to look at. We've numbed out in every single way possible, whether it's scrolling the newsfeed, whether it's food or alcohol, whether it's staring blankly at the TV, whether it's over exercising. We all have our things, right?
Yeah.
That to help us numb out, because we think it's easier to numb out and pretend like the stuff's not there. When really now what we're doing is saying, oh, that's actually not easier. I'm spending so much more energy trying to pretend that my greatness isn't within me than it would if I just sat with it. Right.
Yeah.
And so it gets frustrating because we do want the easy pass. We do want the easy way out, because that's what those numbing mechanisms gave us before. The easy way out. Right. There's a lot of, and you can apply that to different areas of life. There's a lot of psychology. I'll actually give you an example for me. So this past month of February has been it's been actually a trip down memory lane. And now I'm collecting massively awesome data points that are showing me how I used to function all the time, and that I just can't do that anymore. So I had a ton on my to-do list this month, self-imposed deadlines, but I wanted to get it done and I could. And at first, the adrenaline felt really good. Like I felt like freaking Superwoman, knocking out all the things, scheduling my time. So it was like it was go, 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 go. And then I hit a wall where I started to feel super constricted, and I could physically feel it within myself. That's another key. Tap into your physical body, because that actually gives us clues as to what's going on energetically, emotionally, mentally for us. And so I have felt like, oh, I am feeling so constricted. I'm feeling so grippy and like I have to control everything. And ladies, if we try to control everything and fill all of our time with what we deem to be most important on the to-do list, we don't leave space for magic. Take nothing else out of tonight. Take that. Okay. And so I'm collecting data on, and I've done this. I see now how I've done it in different areas of my life, but I overschedule myself because at first the adrenaline feels awesome. And then I start to slow down, but then I'm like, but I committed to this. I have to do it. And so that's when I start to like go on like the backup burner, right? Like I can still go, but it's not feeling great. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to the end, what I deem the end, which for me happened to be when I'm going on vacation in 2 days. And I'm realizing like, oh, I do that so I can feel worthy enough to relax on vacation. That's why I did all of that. Now, I wanted to get all that stuff done too, but did I have to do it all in February? Nope. But my story was I need to work really hard. I need to struggle so that I can earn vacation. Ladies, we are friggin' worthy of vacation. And now I know. I just had a conversation with my husband 10 minutes ago. I'm like, I need more spaciousness just in life. I cannot depend on vacation to finally unwind. And I've gotten pretty good at that, but I had a little backslide. And it's just divinely timed, because then I get to share vulnerably with you, A, to let you know that you're not alone, and B, to coach you through what I'm going through. So that's all part of the process, right, Kim? Like, and it's looking at that, right? I could have just been like, oh, like I overran myself again. But now I'm like, no, that's a pattern. And I would do that in other areas of my life. I would do that with food throughout the week, where I would eat as little as possible. And then I would overindulge on the weekend because I earned it at that point. Right. So it's like and so then it's digging into, where is that programming coming from? Who am I trying to impress? Why? Yeah, Kim, how cool is it that I recognize it now? It's not just like a surface level thing anymore. There's always an underlying current. And there's an underlying current. That same underlying current shows up in multiple areas. So we may think we have a money block. That same feeling that comes up with the money block is likely coming up in other areas as well. Intimacy with your spouse, food addiction, or whatever it may be. We think we have one struggle with one area, but actually that feeling transmutes through multiple areas of life, because it's all connected. Woo! Thank you, Spirit. That was excellently done. I don't remember what I just said. When I don't remember what I just said, I'm like, oh, that was awesome. Like, way to go, team. So thanks for kicking that off, Kim. Like, that was awesome. Can we anything else for you?
No, I've got module 6 downloaded now, so I can work on that this, I probably won't get into it until next week. I'm actually going away this weekend again. But this is a fun time.
Module 6. Module 6 is it's gonna be your BFF.
I think I've got to do some digging for that one. I keep going back to module 5 and like looking at my, what are your dreams? And the resistances that I have, and saying, okay, how does that feel with me? How is all that sitting? And I've actually added a couple of things to my dreams that weren't on there originally.
Hey, see, like, and I will say this last thing to what you just said, Kim. You want it all right now, like you want the instant gratification, but it's not all available to you right now, right? Like those other dreams that you listed, they weren't coming through the first time you sat with it. Giving ourselves the spaciousness to actually allow things to come through, like that's the magic.
Right.
That's why we don't want the instant gratification anymore. There's no magic there.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Thank you. Who's next, ladies? This is how we roll. This is good. We're in it now. Marnie. Do you need me to do it? Hold on. I got you.
Oh,
you're good. Yep.
All right.
Girlfriend.
Hi, how are you? Good morning. Good evening, everyone. I wrote myself bullets, so hopefully I'll be able to spew them out and they make sense. First of all, grateful. I'm really grateful for just really what has evolved over the past several months, and just finally realizing that knowing it's just going to continue to evolve, that my discovery, my self-discovery, I'm not going to be static. I'm always going to be evolving and changing, and feeling like I have to figure it out right now and being so much into my head. I just want to, I'm really happy with being who I am today. And so anyway, and today I had a moment of choosing myself, and it really created sort of this emotional release that I certainly wasn't expecting. And but I we can talk about that another time. The cards that I picked on Sunday, so every time there's some kind of either group gathering or that kind of thing, I actually didn't repick today because these cards were just so amazing. I wanted to share these with you. There's like sort of been these 3 sort of big things that kind of have kept popping out at me. And I was at Walmart with my husband over the weekend, and literally as I was coming out, and I posted this in the group, so probably most of you have seen it. And this little girl had this shirt on, and she's sitting in the cart, and her mom, and I went up to the mother, and I'm like, I just have to ask, can I take a picture of your daughter's shirt? I said, I know that's weird. I'll take the picture. I'll show you. It won't have her face in it. Like, I really was like that person, that wacky person. And she's like, sure. She was actually really great with it. It was adorable. And it said, make your own magic. And then the little boy was there. What about me? What about me? He was walking next to her. I'm like, of course, I want a picture of your shirt as well. And I took a picture, showed Mom. And it wasn't until I got home that it was make your own magic. And it was the Nike symbol, just do it. Right. So, and then that video came out, or the commercial came out Sunday evening during the Oscars. And I actually didn't see it until the next day. Someone posted it and I saw that and was blown away by the commercial. That was just amazing. The cards that I picked Sunday evening was dreams. And it says, think big. So there are unseen forces ready to support your dreams. Opportunity. Release your ties to the past. When you let go of the old, you make room for the new. And then boundaries, my good old favorite boundaries. Protect your precious time and energy. So anyway, I haven't repicked in a few days because these were just so poignant, and I had a great I had a great conversation with Jillian today, and pretty much about this. There was just so many things that like the universe is just like doink, you know, like whacking me upside the head with the opportunities to dream big and to just fucking do it. And so anyway, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be signing up with Mastermind, Rising Mastermind. I said it out loud.
That's a gratitude. Holy cow.
Oh my
That's
God,
amazing.
I'm having a hot flash right now.
Good.
Um,
I'm grabbing
so
you.
anyway, I had to share that.
Thank you for
and
sharing. Very
Yeah.
proud of you. Very honored. Very excited.
I am pumped. I am pumped, very much so. The kind of the tangible things, I actually have had a hard time getting into what do you call it? Print off Module 6. When I go into the Dream Quest Facebook page and go on the files section on the left, it'll bring you to Dreamscape page, workspace maybe, and it says,
Yeah,
oops,
that's not correct anymore.
okay.
That I'll change that right now, actually.
And so then when I went into the where we had to create a password to get into the website, anyway, so this could be something I could just email you later or something, or someone maybe could just bullet what the heck I'm doing wrong. It's kind of silly, I suppose, but anyway, I haven't printed off Module 6 to start working on that yet. Module 5, so Module 5, I just wanted to chat about that.
Yes.
The feels, the resistances that we have, and in a funny way, it ties into something that you had already said with Kim earlier, is that I was really having a hard time. I don't know if anybody else, you can raise your hand if this also applies to you, with any resistance I wrote, and then to just sit with that for however many seconds it was. I really had a hard time with that.
Yeah.
I actually had a visceral response with each one. I either felt sick to my stomach. I like to the point where it was almost like I was trying to, you know, rebuke the devil. I'm like, no, no, I don't want to feel it. It was just really, really weird. And it just made me think of my whole life, all of these moments that, push those feelings down. I had 2 deaths. Both my parents passed away I wasn't a child, but I wasn't done with them yet. I was young. And, so I think of that and like how I squished down my grief with that, or just other moments in my life, and thinking that was the strong thing to do, like that was the right thing to do, instead of showing or feeling it and just kind of moving through it. So I don't know, that was just really weird.
Not weird.
It was an odd experience.
Yeah, but it's not weird at all. And it's not surprising at all. It's like, that's pure energy. And that emotion is living. So when I talk about clearing chakras, when I talk about like, where are you feeling this right now? It's because actually we stuff experiences, we stuff emotion into certain areas of our body. And we wind up with disease, illness, we want pain, whatever it is. So it's a real thing, Marnie. It's a really weird thing. Really real thing. And you're also, Marty, you're super scientific. I mean, you've got your PT brain, like, how the body works, like, scientifically. This is taking that and enhancing it a millionfold, because now you're adding spirit into it. You're adding the energy into it.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder, right? Like, it's actually really powerful that you had that experience.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was interesting. So I'm still kind of finishing up 5, and I feel like needing to kind of go back to 5. And the priorities, I'm sorry, that was like knocked out of the park.
Good.
So
Yay.
that was really amazing. So appreciative that you were able to, provide us that extra education or in trying to work through that. So thank you. I haven't gone through the homework on that yet, but the presentation was awesome. Thank
Good.
you.
And you guys, she's talking about true priorities. So I think everyone on here has seen at least part of it. So if not, go and watch that because it was really good. And I loved it because that was born directly out of Thrive. I got to the priorities part in Thrive and everybody was like, what? Like, what's a priority, right? Like it was like radio silent during the actual Thrive. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you, noted. Like, this is what we work on next. And that's what I love about coaching my people so closely. It's like I get feedback on how to serve them while I'm serving them. It's just the most beautiful cycle. So thank you, Marnie. To your point about the module itself, Kim's having an issue too with a little bit of my course spaces are so beautiful, and once we figure out all the details, it's going to be super potent. But Nikki Ong, who her company is the one that created my website, and we had a 3-hour training on Sunday, thank goodness, because she went into labor the next day. She just had her baby. So I just posted module 6, the workbook, and just the YouTube video in our Facebook group. So everybody can access it there. There's always a backup. It's just, obviously, we like it to have the pretty section where it's got everything, but for now, we'll do what we can. So thank you I appreciate your patience with that.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't have any other specific questions. I think I went through everything, and yeah, so thank you.
You're welcome. I would just say, like, just coaching wise, Marnie, your greatest focus and never ending journey is learning how to trust yourself. Like on that deep, deep, deep level of like knowing, and I actually could probably say that for everybody here. I know I sure as hell could say that for myself. Trust was my word for 2018. And my coach looked at me, she goes, you do know that's your word for life, right? Yeah. I'm picking up on that. So sit with the feelings. And I've said this to Kim before too. You guys, module 5 was placed where it was purposefully. Everything has been placed where it was purposefully. Like I literally, I've got my flow board right next to me. I'll take a picture of it for you guys at some point when all the modules are done. But I have a flow board. Like I literally sat down in meditation and flowed, like mapped out all the modules. And I knew when I got to 5, I was like, yep, that's right where it needs to be. Because what you are all wanting so badly right now is the strategy and the categories and tell me where to put things. So because it makes it easier, right? Like you've got the human element and it's coming. That's module 6. You actually have it available to you now. But I really wanted you to learn how to open up your intuition. If not trust it completely yet, at least play with it. It's going to make the process of module 6 so much more potent and deep. So trust the process. You got this. And if you have to sit, right, Jillian and I were talking about this. If you have to go back and do module because like you know you got to go deeper, do it. You are not handing in a homework assignment, right? We're not trying to get the straight A. Your teacher already loves you. Like you've got nothing to prove here. So do it. Like go all the way. If you have to do module 5 17 times, it's such a gift that you can give to yourself. So good. Thank you, Marnie. You're amazing. Keep me posted on all the things and we'll get you rocking and rolling in all the areas. But thank you. That was beautiful. All right, Amy, Kim, or Jillian, who is up next? Kimberly?
I could go.
Go, girl.
Hi, everyone. When you ask like what we're grateful for, it just like, what am I not grateful for? Like I actually keep a journal and write down 5 things that I'm grateful for every day but I focus on like the little things instead of like the big things, like of course my family and blah, blah, blah. But I guess like today I'm really grateful for my personal growth that I've gone through this process, because I'm a very planned person. And if I go into something, I have to go in all the way or not at all kind of like thing. And I'm very like strategic. So you've been making me think, and it's been driving me crazy, but I love it.
Like, I'm like, yes, you're like, come on.
Yes. Like it's not like this, like you're making us like go through the things. Like it's nuts. But
you're welcome.
It's just cool because like through my personal growth, like I've seen like all the relationships around me change as well, because like I'm more present and I'm more like attuned to like what other people are going through and stuff like that, instead of being in my own little bubble all the time. And meditating. I finally went through your first meditation and didn't fall asleep.
Yes.
Your voice is so calming.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm going to tell my mother that there are women out there that think my voice is calming. She'll be like, what?
The first 2 times I was like laying down, but then the third time I was like, okay, I gotta stay awake. Like I just couldn't do it. But anyway, the thing that I'm most struggling with right now, because I am so planned and I take care of so many people around me, is that I'm having a hard time getting out of my own way, like figuring out what I truly want versus what I think other people want me to want, or what I think maybe I want.
Yeah.
Versus the outside sources of what other people are wanting me to do.
Yeah.
Just being like, it goes all the way back to childhood, but I won't go there. But just like my whole life, I've been busy taking care of everybody else. And even like when we go to a restaurant, I have to look at the menu a day beforehand because it takes me forever to figure out what I want to eat. Or like my husband will be like, what do you want to do today? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, why are you asking me what I want? I know what the kids want to do, but I don't know. But I mean, you should see my planner. I'm very like, I don't know. I'm just having a hard time processing things for myself and what I want.
So a couple things. First of all, don't throw the planner away. The planner is awesome. It's really awesome, you guys, to have some structure, some strategy, right? Like, so we could be, I love this analogy of like, we could be the dolphin, just flipping and floating in the ocean all day long, but that's not going to get us anywhere either. That's flow, that's happiness, that's joy, but that's like we got some stuff that we really want to get done too. So don't throw the planner out. But I think my advice to myself of leave some space for magic, that's going to be, and that's practiced, right? Mm-hmm. So that, and this is a very practical, very strategic start here button, but leave space for magic. Have your planner, but even if you have to plan into it, like magic time, like where you have nothing planned, there's nothing planned, you just see where the day goes. I remember when my oldest son was little, there were a couple times like in the summer that I would just follow him, like, and we would wind up across the street, like at the school and stuff like that. And but he didn't know, like he was just like going and like picking up leaves. And so just that mindless time of like, oh, where's he going to go? Like curiosity time, maybe. I think that's really powerful. The other thing is, so someone asked this to me once and it was a really uncomfortable question, but it really helped me to start processing. If your family wasn't there, like say they all went on vacation without you, which I know you can't imagine, but what would you do? Even if it's like, I would sleep till 7 as opposed to 5, right? Like I would take a bath. And maybe that would still include, I would clean the house, I would do the things, but like, what would you do? And just let yourself like noodle with that a little bit. You don't have to like come up with this whole like burning bras and like Girls Gone Wild situation, but like what would you do if literally no other human needed you for an entire day? What would that look like? I know.
It actually happened like a couple days ago where my husband took out the kids just sporadically, and he just like took them, and he's like, do whatever you want to do. I literally sat there for an hour thinking like, what am I going to do? Like,
Did
it
that
was
feel good?
crazy.
Did that feel good to just sit there for an hour?
It was relaxing, but it was kind of alarming, like that I just sat there. Like I utilized my time by sitting there thinking about what I was supposed to be doing.
So to me, that actually says maybe rest, but you didn't know how to diagnose that because like you're on the go all the time.
Yes.
So like the fact that you sat there, because Kim, like, let's just call this what it is. You're telling yourself a story that you have to be going all the time.
Yes.
You're telling yourself a story that everyone needs you and that you don't know what to do. You're telling yourself a story that you can't choose your own dinner, right? These are programmed, these are deep things. What if we flip the switch? What if you started telling yourself a story of like, I friggin' always know what I want for dinner, right? Or I always, like, if a free moment shows up for me, I want to do X, Y, and Z. So that's the first bit. It's looking at the stories that we're telling ourselves and also looking at the reality. You sat down and you had trouble turning the mind off, but you sat and you just stayed with it. So to me, that's like, oh, maybe sister just needed to take a nap, right? Like that could be too. And maybe, and I don't know do you know Abraham Hicks? Do you listen to Abraham Hicks? So, Abraham Hicks is a woman, Esther Hicks, but she channels spirit and it comes through as Abraham, like super deep divine conversation. Like, but her spiritual gift is actually words, like fluid words. She actually says all the time, naps are the greatest reset button. So to me, I'm like, maybe your spirit's just calling you to take a nap. And you're trying to put all this pressure. Oh, good. You just got the book. You're trying to put all this pressure on yourself of like, oh my gosh, what should I be doing? And I know that I should be doing what I want to be doing. But what is it that I want to be doing? And so like, that's even causing the tailspin. Maybe you just need to close your eyes or go for a walk.
Yeah. That's so true. I just like all day long, I'm just taking care of people and making decisions for everybody else. When it comes time to like actually thinking about what I want, I'm just so exhausted that I just don't want to, I guess.
Yeah. But also that's a story that's become your reality.
That's true.
So you keep reverberating that for yourself. I take care of everybody. I'm exhausted at the end of the day. I can't take care of myself. That's actually what you're telling yourself. So of course that's true.
Yeah.
So it's just very tenderly pulling that apart, being like, oh no, I actually don't have to, that doesn't have to be my reality. So our stories that we tell ourselves are just, we associate our stories to be truths. But what a story is actually a thought you've just thunk over and over and over. And that's how it's become a story, which is how you have determined it to be a truth. It doesn't have to be. So my coaching for you, Kim, is start with the story. Yes, you feel like that's your reality, but could you shift that reality ever so slightly so that you stop telling yourself? It's like our kids when they get tired, right? They're like, or it's like our kids when they're exhausted, but they don't want to walk upstairs by themselves. So they like turn into a wet noodle and they're like, I can't walk. And it's like, yes, you can walk, but they actually can't walk in that moment because they're telling themselves that they can't walk, right? Like, so that becomes their story. That becomes their truth in that moment. That's what we do too. As busy women who do all the things, we tell ourselves, I'm a busy woman who does all the things. I can't take care of myself. It's like, yes, you can. And just like the 5-year-old, you can walk up the stairs. Your body can physically do that, right? So it's looking at that. What are you constantly telling yourself? Because you're gonna make sure that you're right, whether it's serving you or not. Is that helpful?
Very helpful. Yes.
We're going back under. We're pulling the gopher. We're gonna get underneath that one, sister.
I like that.
Okay.
That's good.
Amazing. Amazing. Marnie says, this is the biggest change for me this year, catching myself when I tell myself a story. Yep. That's what our lives are made up of, you guys. And the interesting part is like, okay, which story is actually mine and which did I take on from other people? right? That shows up a lot with money. So I actually rewired my whole money story because I finally looked at the masculine and feminine energies within my parents. And I witnessed how that started showing up in different areas of my life and how I equated money with that. Real crazy, real awesome stuff. But like, it's the stories. Thank you, Kim. That was really, really good. That opened up a whole new plateau. All right, Amy or Jillian, who's it gonna be? Jill, you go, girl.
I am grateful that homework time is so easy for my son tonight because we struggle with that every night. Got it done, out of the way, quick and easy.
Yes, awesome.
So when Dream Quest started, I was like really up there. I launched my business. I was like going after my dreams, and I was like feeling really, really good and doing the modules and stuff. And then I had a very hard life event happen, and I took time, as I should, and felt my things. And now, I guess my biggest issue now is I can't get back to that feeling I had at the beginning. Like, I do the things that I was doing then, and I feel frustrated because I'm not feeling that high. I'm not, like, I don't know, trying to get back to that.
Yeah, no, it's so good, sister. So, two things. The first thing is you're exactly where you are meant to be, right? So just like that little mini reminder. And with that, we go, literally, our female bodies go through different cycles, right? So like depending on where you are in your cycle, depending on where the moon is in her cycle, like we have different time periods depending on the season, right? Like we're still in winter and we're in like the dreads of winter right now where it's like, please spring, get here. Like all of this stuff we think doesn't matter. It matters a great deal. So it's okay that your energy isn't like rah, rah. And honey, you just had a major loss. This to me feels a little bit like you're trying to like force that good feeling back, because if you feel that feeling again, you won't have to feel the pain as much too. And like tenderly, right? Like I know. So again, we go back to the whole giving yourself grace, but now I'm going to give you the good stuff because I know you've heard me say all that before. I want to give you a good reframe. We don't ever want to go back to feeling like we were before. We want to go forward to creating the way that we want to feel in the future. A good example for this, and I mean, you're so into wellness, Jillian, so you'll like this. As women, you know, you hear women talk about all the time, I just want to go back to the way I looked in high school. I just want to go back to the way I looked before I had kids. I just want to go back to how I looked when I thought I was fat, when I wasn't, right? Like, so we do that. I just want to go back to that. And it's like, well, that's actually not possible. And no, you don't. You don't want to go back to that point. Maybe you want to wear the same size pants that you did then for whatever reason, but you don't want to go back to do it. You want to go forward to do it. You want to create new experiences for yourself as you do it. You want to bring in all the experiences you've had since high school, which was like a really long time ago, right? Like you want to embody, you want to feel all that you have experienced since that time and bring that forward with you. So instead of saying, and I know what you're saying, like you want to feel that high, you want to feel that engagement, you want to feel that deep connection again, and you will, but not by going backwards. You'll feel it by re-engaging with yourself on a deeper level now and creating new experiences along the way of bringing that feeling to fruition in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What's coming up? I see your feels, sister. Hold on. There we go.
I just got like chills.
You got chills?
Yeah. I mean, I want that feeling again, but it's going to be different now that I've experienced all this.
Yeah. Yeah, and I dare say even more fulfilled, because as we go through different seasons of life and have different highs and different lows, it's like we're just like filling in missing pieces of ourselves because more clarity has come over time, right? Like the wise old owl, the wise crone in goddess talk, like sister knows it all, and she didn't go backwards to figure it out. She only went forward. She brought it on through experience. So as you start to really get into like the underbelly of your business, and you really start to, because I know that this is a priority for you, like really step into the truth of yourself, utilizing you as the foundation for your business. As you do that, as you come up with programs and offerings that feel super in alignment with you, it's the you of now. They're going to feel super in alignment with you now, not the you at the beginning of this year, but the you of now, which is going to make it even more fruitful. It's going to make it even more aligned because you're doing all of you now. And that's only going to come in the future. So you know the feeling because you can remember the feeling. And that's why memory is so powerful. That's why feelings are so powerful. You know the feeling, but you get to create it going forward. You get to create it with new momentum and new experiences, which will make it just that much more pleasurable for you. That's a good word for you, Jill. Pleasure. I want you to focus on pleasure. How can you bring pleasure into business creation, into you creation, into allowing yourself to rise? How can you make that experience more pleasurable so that when that motivational hit, like that, like deep connected feeling, that like, oh my gosh, I'm on top of the world, when that feeling surfaces in the future, it's just going to be that much sweeter. Does that feel good? Do you have any like point B? You know me, I always have a point B. So like, do you have any follow-up question or like need support?
I do feel like I'm pushing it too hard.
You do?
Yeah.
But also, can you blame yourself? No, right? It's hard. It's hard feeling those deep feelings of loss. Like that's hard. And of course you want to feel the euphoria on the other side. That's human, honey. Like that's part of it. So let those deep desires of your truth come out, but try to witness where your ego is trying to tell you to hurry up and do it. Or trying to say like, you felt this way before. Why can't you feel that way again? Right? Like, oh, hush, little ego, hush. You've got no room here. Because your ego is trying to keep you safe. And for this situation, safety feels like feeling really good again. And she's coming. She's in you. She's just wiser now. And I totally recommend after this, like this just came through like a freaking freight train. Go move your body after. Go like do like pretend like you've got a hula hoop, like shake up your sacral chakra, because that's where we store a lot of that like flow energy. And so if you want things to start flowing, just shake it up. Okay.
Thank you.
You are so held, my love. Okay. Amy. All right, I'm going to try to see. You guys, I told you. Silly thing. All right. Here we go. Huh? See what I did there? All right, Amy Johnson.
Okay, can you all hear me?
You can.
All right, I had microphone issues at the beginning. So I'm grateful for two things. So one, I think it was in Thrive, we talked about that sense of control. Like all of us kind of want to control everything and we don't want to ask for support or ask for help. And that's my MO, trying to work on getting over that. But I had a doctor's appointment today.
Yeah.
And I asked, my husband if he would go with me
And he's like, yeah, I've got something due for a client. And I was like, oh, well, I don't want to be the burden. So I'm like, if you can, it's fine. But I think he could sense that I wanted him to go. And he got up at 3:00 this morning and started working so he could finish that job for this client to go with me. And he got home and he's been working since then. So he could tell I wanted him there for that, to support me through that appointment and just kind of do the debrief after the appointment and whatnot. And I'm very grateful that he did that for me. And he could sense that I needed that support and that help. So just been thinking about it all day, how grateful I am that he did that for me. So he's exhausted, but he'll sleep later.
He will, and that's amazing.
Yeah. And the other thing I'm grateful for is, again, the way that you've set up the modules, because I feel like I've done a lot of self-reflection just through school and personal development stuff. And so at the beginning, I think I was like, oh yeah, let me get through these things, check the boxes and I'll do the tasks that she wants. And then I'll move on to the doing the business stuff. But I'm really grateful that you had them set up the way that you did, and that I took the time with my journal, because sometimes you don't actually face the fears unless they're staring you in the face. And writing down all the stuff that I've been scared of about starting my business it's got me to the point where I'm just kind of annoyed with myself. Seriously, you're writing the same things about fear of this and worry of that and imposter syndrome, this and that. And I'm just like, come on, just stop, enough already. So I'm kind of to the point where I'm annoyed with myself with it. But also what's been interesting is my 10-year-old niece plays basketball, and my husband coaches her, and she has low self-confidence. And when she has to do something new, she always tells him, I can't do it. And he'll always say to her, you're doing it every day. You can, I know you can. And I started to notice that the fears and the anxiety that I'm writing down, it's basically me saying I can't. But the business that I want to start, I've been doing it. So I'm like, wow, I'm doing the same thing as my 10-year-old niece and just saying to myself, I can't. But I've been doing it and I know that I can. So things are the tide is starting to turn with it. And so that's kind of the space that I'm in right now, but very grateful for the way that you set them up, and that I didn't just check the boxes and go through the motions, that I took the time with them and did the journaling, and it has had the impact of it's right there, and I'm like, come on.
So awesome. Oh my gosh, I love it. And I would say this too, what is your inner 10-year-old telling? What does she need? She needs a hug right now, right? That's what's coming up is you're feeling all these things, you're witnessing it, because everyone's a mirror. Right? The people in our lives are all mirrors for us as to what we are the deeply most profound at, and what we got to work on. And this is a direct reflection of your inner child being but I'm scared. And so for me, I'm like, Amy, take that girl out to lunch. You take your inner child and go to Friendlies or something that kids love to go. Literally, I would go. Or, I mean, you could just pretend to and just do it at home with your journal. But take her out to lunch. Ask her what she needs. Ask her what she's scared of. Ask her what it was that created that fear for her all those years ago. And then at the end of it, tell her that she doesn't lead, right? So we already did that with module, the module meditation, but I sit with my inner people a lot, because they have their relapses, right? They have their little temper tantrums. So especially when it's an inner child, it's so awesome So awesome. And I love that you said that too. There are a few things that I'm like, I am so sick of myself with this. Like, but underneath that, it's because your worthiness is like trying to surface. It's like the worthiness seed is like, I've cracked the shell. Like, I'm coming up, whether you ready or not. Like, that green little sprout is coming. So that's what's happening. Your worthiness is trying to literally excavate itself because she's ready to shine, and she's just going to clear the path of all the resistance you've thrown in her soil, to keep the metaphor going.
No, that's a great metaphor, because I definitely feel with module 5, and I did 6 earlier today. That's where I feel like that tide is starting to turn for me, because I'm like, I can do this. I'm doing this. I need to stop saying I can't do it.
Yeah. Going back, right, to Kim Swanson's, like, that's the story. That's the story. But like, Amy, you actually have been doing your business. Like, we talked about this before. Like, you've been actually doing it for a long time. You have been really helping people. You've just not been getting paid for it. And it is time to freaking complete that exchange cycle. You cannot, ladies, we cannot only give. We cannot only breathe out. We have to breathe in too. So powerful.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go back and do the meditation with that 10-year-old in mind specifically, because when I did it with a different, like, college age me.
Yeah.
For a couple of different reasons.
Yeah.
So I think I might go back and do the meditation with that version and see what comes from that.
You know what you could do too is you can invite your niece's spirit to join. Right? Like, have her there with you. Maybe you don't even talk to her directly, but you let her witness you talking to you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of science actually behind that, behind the shifts in other people when we invite them into spaces like that. I was actually reading, I have this book on Kundalini meditation that I've been reading from and learning from, and it was talking specifically about the male-female relationship. But it was saying that we as women, if we look at a man, like, just, insert your spouse here. If we look at his third eye, we don't even have to say it out loud, but we say in our minds what we want. It literally transmutes the idea into their head, which gives them the actual thought that they came up with the idea, which gives us, as the divine feminine, the space to support and encourage, because the masculine is all about, I know this doesn't have to do with the inner child, but like, it has everything to do with inviting the spirit in. The masculine is all about starting something and getting to the finish line. The feminine is all about swirling and being and providing that safe space for the masculine to rest. So if we transmute the idea that we actually want, give it to them, make them think that they came up with the idea, encourage them, and then praise them for doing it, and then allowing them to rest, they get to rest. We got what we wanted done. Everyone's happy in the world. Like, that's like, isn't that crazy? But I was like, oh my gosh. And you don't even have to be looking at them too. You just have to be super present with calling them in. So cool. So like that, we can call in other people's spirits to join us while we're going deep with ourselves. You didn't know we were getting into that tonight, did you?
No.
Crazy though, right?
What's interesting too about you saying to invite her spirit into the meditation is that for both of my nieces, who I'm very close with, I actually have journals where I write to them and just share, like, the happenings of, what I see, how inspired I am by her when she plays basketball, and just like different moments with them that you just aren't sure over time. You forget about some of those, like, little moments.
Yeah.
So I just, like, write them down and in the journals to them, and they don't know that they exist, but the plan is to give them to them when they get older, and that, and I share things from what's going on with me to what's going on in society today, my hopes and dreams and even worries for them, and just put it all in there. And so it's a thought to invite her spirit into the meditation where, you know, I'm already journaling a lot to her in that way.
And how vulnerable and how beautiful, because back in the day when women gathered in sisterhood, before we all felt like we needed to do it by ourselves, right? Going back to the point that you made at the beginning, felt like we had to control all the things. We had those sacred women's circles. We had those moments with the younger generations where we got to exchange stories with them, and we got to state our fears and how we got over them, and state our fears so that they may not be fearful of those things. So by you, I actually like literally just picture you like in the red tent with your niece, like having the conversation of like, I didn't think I could do it either.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until my mid-30s that I finally had that aha moment, and I realized, oh, hell yes, I could. Like, you are so much wiser, right? Like we want the young people in our lives to be wiser and to have to do less work than what we're doing now. So I just like, that's what I picture with that. That's like really, really sacred stuff right there. Really powerful. And of course, throughout the process, you get to help yourself heal even deeper. You get to let your own worthiness shine even brighter.
Awesome.
Are you taking that all in?
Yeah.
Can we help you with anything else?
No, it's just, it feels so good to have the community with everyone here and know that some of the struggles, again, you don't have to do this alone.
No.
There are people who get it. They get it. They're going through it. They understand. And it's okay to say it out loud. You don't have to put on the brave face and cry behind the door. You can let it all out in those fears and worries together.
Yes.
So thank you all for doing this with me.
Thank you all is right. Well, ladies, I would call that a pretty freaking epic first VIP Dream Quest call. And we do have one more of these sacred times together coming up in March. You guys, I really love this group. I love it so much. I love all that we're uncovering. Thank you for going here with me, right? Like this wouldn't be a thing if you guys didn't say yes to yourselves, which is just proof that like, this was born from me saying yes to a deep, deep yearning within me. And it's really helping other people. But it's not because I'm like giving you all the lessons. Like you're creating your own experience. You're helping yourself with it. You're utilizing the tools, but you're showing up too. So it's just proof to you that whatever you want to do is available and people will be impacted by it. So powerful. Gosh. All right, my loves, thank you for your time tonight. I honor you so much. Module 6 is up and live. You have 2 more modules coming to you in the month of March. And post your dream embodiment board as you create those, because those are going to be fun to see. And have a good time with that. I'm going to give you some spaciousness. I'm not going to crank out another module right away for you because I want you to have a lot of fun with your vision boards. Okay. I know. Oh, Marnie hasn't watched module 6 yet. Yeah, that came. All right, you guys, I love you. Have a great night. Post in the group if you need anything and just keep dreaming. It's happening.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.